Hi everyone. This video is about the topic of state of mind. I'll share my experience, what I've noticed, what techniques I use, what helps me maintain my state, and so on. I'll explain a bit about how it works for those who are hearing about this for the first time, although I doubt there are such people, but you never know. In general, our state affects what happens in our lives. It's all about the state of mind. We can have thoughts, for example, they might be positive, but inside our state, often it's not so obvious. It's somewhere very deep, and we don't really feel it. We don't really notice what our true inner state is. And no matter how positive our thoughts are, it's the inner state that actually plays out. It's precisely this state that creates the events around us. Let's put it this way. This state, it has certain vibrations. Every state has its own vibrations. But all of these are just names simply for the mind to understand. And whatever vibration your state is on, events are attracted to you at the same frequency. That's why it's so important to go deeper into your state, to focus more on feeling, because your thoughts can be one thing, but your sensations inside can be something else. What helps with this? Meditation, switching off the mind. Thoughts. Stopping them? Yes, sometimes. But if you can't completely stop them, at least slow them down a bit, sit in silence, and listen to your sensations, to what you are feeling right now. I think it's clear now why it's important to monitor your state. But many people understand it this way, and I used to understand it this way too, that you need to stay in a positive, elevated mood. And I practiced that for a while. As soon as I started reading Transurfing, I read it and began to practice. I would just run away from negative emotions. For some reason, I was afraid of them. And if something happened, I would just kind of ignore it, not pay attention to it. But in reality, I was running away from it. It didn't go anywhere. I would switch to some positive thoughts, let's say positive feelings. But the negativity that was there, it didn't go anywhere. It stayed and built up, it was just hidden, so to speak. And then this led to these kinds of emotional swings, emotional ups and downs. I could be positive for a while, and then suddenly, for no apparent reason, slip into negativity and stay stuck there for a long time. And I didn't understand why I was having these kinds of mood swings. But after I analyzed it, I realized that it was exactly after these kinds of emotional highs, let's say artificial, not genuine ones, that I would inevitably experience a crash. By the way, crashes. A crash into negative emotions would happen. Please write in the comments how it is for you, how your state is. I did a poll in my group as well, and a lot of people voted that they have a different state, which I'll talk about a bit later. It's calmer and more even, and I consider it optimal. Many people voted that this is exactly what they experience. But still, write in the comments. Maybe you also had experience with this kind of positive thinking and how it affected you and what you think about it in general. So when I tried this out, I realized that it doesn't work. And these negative emotions, you can't just run away from them. There's nothing wrong with them. You just shouldn't get stuck on them. Let's put it that way, right? Experience them in the moment and let them go. And I shifted to a different state, a calm, even state. I would call it the state of unconditional love. Of course, that's saying a lot. I haven't quite reached that state yet, but overall, it's very similar to it. It's simply calm and steady, and it's like a base, like a background. The background is a calm, steady state. And sometimes there are some flare-ups. It can rise or drop a little, but overall, the background always remains steady. Something just happened. You reacted, felt happy, and then let it go. And after that, everything is calm again. Then something negative happened. You felt sad or something else for a moment, but then you let it go. Nothing lingers for long. Everything passes. It's like what Anna described. Imagine you are the sky, and all these things, the sun, the clouds, are just passing by. It's the same here. You are the sky, and these emotions, they just come and go. You simply observe them. You don't hold on to them. You don't cling to them. They just pass by. Because if to be constantly enjoyed, I have actually experienced some very sharp and sudden declines that bring, yes, when you are feeling truly happy, some really good things tend to happen, but then quite unexpectedly, a significant decline often occurs, and some rather negative events begin to unfold and happen. And I really did track this many times, so I later stopped doing it altogether. And I consider this calm, even state to be ideal because, first of all, you are not running away from negative emotions, you are experiencing them, which is good because it means they don't get stuck somewhere inside you. When we run away from them, they still remain with us anyway. We haven't worked through them, we've just pretended not to notice them, and they accumulate, and then eventually explode or cause some illnesses, for example. When a positive emotion happens, I don't do anything with it. It just happens. I stay in it for a while and then it passes. But when it's negative emotions, the ones that cause discomfort, if a negative emotion occurs but it happens and goes away immediately like a flash, then I don't deal with it. If I start to dwell on it, realizing that it causes me discomfort, these negative emotions, I begin to look at them. With sensations, not thoughts. If you start thinking about it with your mind, you'll just end up chewing over the same mental gum, repeating the same thing, and this state will persist. The negative emotions will keep going. That's why it's our thoughts that trigger this feeling. For example, if something happened and you experienced a negative feeling, and then it keeps bothering you, you worry about it, and you didn't work through this emotion in the moment, later you can, with your thoughts, when you have free time, use your thoughts to bring up this sensation. Think about something that will trigger these feelings in you. Then set your thoughts aside during this process, turn off your thoughts, and just start to feel what you are feeling. Look at this emotion and try to intensify it so that you feel it even more strongly. But you won't be able to intensify it. It seems like you're trying to make it stronger, yes, 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 and then suddenly, poof, it disappears somewhere. You keep trying to catch it, catch it, catch it, and then suddenly, poof, it disappears. Understand that all such emotions are processed very well in this way. When you'll keep trying to catch it, and then you'll notice that it's completely gone. And even when you try to bring it back with your thoughts, it won't trigger the same emotion anymore. Maybe at first there will still be a little bit left. In that case, you need to repeat the process again and again. But after that, this emotion will no longer be triggered in you. This is how I work with negative emotions. And this balanced state helps maintain stability. Let's put it this way. You don't have any sharp mood swings. In fact, I think this is the ideal state, accepting everything as it is. This allows you not to get stuck in any emotions for too long, to maintain a balanced state, and to shape what you need. Because a calm state doesn't mean that everything will always be smooth and peaceful for you. It's just that many people think that positive emotions will attract positive events. Yes, it's truly not that easy to consistently hold on to those positive emotions. Maybe some people manage to do it, but I'm not sure. Maybe there are just negative emotions inside that are being suppressed and they're just building up for now, and at some point they might explode. You know, it's like clowns, for example, who are actually very unhappy people. I've noticed in life in general, for example, people who aren't even into this topic, just regular people. People who are very cheerful, seem so nice, and you wouldn't think they have anything going on inside, any emotional struggles. But it turns out that these people are actually very unhappy inside. That's just an observation from the outside. So this kind of excessive joy, by the way, can actually have the opposite effect. As Zeland wrote, it can trigger balancing forces if you react too emotionally to something. On the contrary, it will push you in the opposite direction so that you return to balance. If something stands out too much, it will try to bring you back to a more even state. In principle, if you manage to maintain this steady positive state so that it remains consistently positive throughout, and you are sure that you are not suppressing or running away from negative emotions, then of course you can stay in a positive state, but it should also be calm and balanced. Experiencing bursts of different emotions still leads to the same results. The same positive events come into your life. Just remember what you feel when you achieve your goal. Yes, maybe you feel a bit of joy in the moment, but then you settle into this even state. Let's just say it's not indifference, it's a calm, steady state. It's simply a state of love, acceptance, and inner warmth of the soul. That's the kind of state it is. And against that background, sometimes things happen, some disturbances or fluctuations occur, but overall it's just this warm, inner, soulful state of acceptance, calmness, balance, and harmony. That's what it is. And when we achieve a goal, by the way, that's mostly the state we experience. It's not that we're unusually or overly happy, but that's only if it happened unexpectedly or if we were really, really looking forward to it. In other cases, we just feel inside like, yes, I was working toward this. I knew it would turn out this way, and you have that same calm, steady inner state. Write what you think about this. Maybe you have some situations in your life that confirm this. From my own personal experience, I've truly noticed that this approach works much, much better. It effectively eliminates negative imbalances, and overall, life just becomes significantly more comfortable without all the constant ups and downs. Just a stable, consistently pleasant, and wonderfully calm state of being. If you tend to have a negative attitude, complaints, grievances, dissatisfaction, rejection, you of course understand that this doesn't do you any good. But I also completely understand how hard it is to get out of that state. From my own experience, I've been in such situations many times, and I know that logically I shouldn't act that way, and I know how it affects me, but it's still hard to break free. You might manage to be positive for a little while, but then you slip back again. So what helped me in this situation? It was consistent practice, exactly. When I couldn't manage it, it was simply because I did it too rarely, only when I remembered, and that was it. Then I started whenever I remembered, and then I thought, oh, good job for remembering, I need to do it more and more. For example, if you notice that you're in such a state and you remember this, don't scold yourself. The most important thing is that if you start scolding yourself for not succeeding, you're only making things worse for yourself, and things will get even worse. So praise yourself for noticing, for spending time with it. You will calm, you don't have to be happy about it. The main thing is acceptance, just a neutral state. Level yourself out and hold it for as long as you can. Then you fall back again, experiencing negative emotions once more. As soon as you notice, you pull yourself out again. With effort, so to speak. Yes, you think about something else, just something that brings you a calm, steady, pleasant, warm feeling in your soul. And so each time, I've just noticed that every time this happens to the body, I notice more and more often when I'm slipping, and I can maintain that state for longer and longer. And with practice, you'll only get better and better at it. The main thing is not to give up. Just start and keep going. It will help. It helped me a lot. I had so many situations with losing weight where I just couldn't get out of it. I understood that I needed to get rid of that dissatisfaction, but I just couldn't. Well, you still end up slipping back there. But again, with each time, with every visualization, meditation, and especially experiencing the desired state through visualization or just meditating, when you're present in the moment, tracking your state, let's say, taking the observer's position when you look at your thoughts and feelings from the outside, all of that gradually started to work better and better for me. Even now, I still have moments when I slip back, but of course, it's nothing like before. It's not as long-lasting, and it doesn't happen as often. And with my weight, the problem just starts to resolve itself. I'm not doing anything. When I reach my desired weight, I'll make a separate video on this topic. But the weight is already coming off, and I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything at all for this. And it's the same with YouTube. For a long time, I really wanted my videos to start getting views, to build an audience, but it just wasn't working out for me. I placed way too much importance on it, had high expectations, and this constant feeling of I have to. I kept doing it over and over, and I realized that I needed to let go of that. But I couldn't because it was important to me. I wanted to do this. I wanted there to be people who watched my videos. So again, what helped me? Only consistency. Practice. I set a reminder for myself. Every day, morning and evening, I did it. And I did it during the day too. And just recently I shared my results for the month in my group. I spent about 2 weeks working on this. And I posted a video that went viral, and then the rest also started getting a lot of views. And over this month in general, I got so many views that even YouTube sent me a report saying I had more views than ever before. But it's not like I hadn't made videos on these topics before. They just never took off like this right away. As soon as I started working on this, it all happened immediately. Well, I don't know, I once talked about spiders too. I used to have a phobia like that. Spiders, I would react to them very strongly, and they would just show up everywhere I went, whether at home or at work. I thought, no one else has them, it's just me. People would tell me, you're just paying attention to them. No, that's not true. When I started working specifically on my state, on this issue with spiders, they stopped appearing. There were fewer and fewer of them, and now there aren't any at all. It's just that my attitude toward them changed, but that doesn't mean I don't notice them. I still have that habit. I always look in the corners. I have white walls, so I see every little bug or spider if they appear. But now there are only a few of them. Over a very long period, maybe just one spider might show up. There are a lot fewer of them now. Before, they were everywhere for me, no matter where I lived or where I was. Because I had a very strong emotional aversion, a sense of disagreement, I reacted very strongly, and it kept becoming a bigger part of my life. That's basically all I wanted to tell you. Write your thoughts in the comments. What state of mind do you usually have, and which one do you think is best for creating what you want? Maybe share your experiences of getting out of negative states that helped you. Or maybe you have experienced staying in a positive state and not slipping into negativity like I used to. I know there are people who can stay in that positive state all the time, and I accept that. Share your experience. How do you do it? I'd be very interested to read about it. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for leaving comments under my videos, for liking them, and thank you for donating. Sometimes donations come in so unexpectedly from different people. I check my card and boom, someone has sent something. There's even a special app for it, but some people just transfer money directly to my card. It makes me really happy, and I know that people who do this sincerely will get even more back in return. But it really needs to be done sincerely. If you start doing it on purpose, like, I'll do this so that I get something back, it won't work that way. It's only when you genuinely want to share, as a way to express gratitude, that more will come back to you. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I'll see you in new videos. I'm thinking of doing another live stream next week. I actually wanted to do it this week too, but I noticed it was starting to feel like an obligation, and I don't want that. I want to do it only when I feel inspired. Right now, I have the impulse for this video, so I just recorded it. This morning, I didn't have the impulse yet. I didn't think I would be recording today. I kind of wanted to do it, but I was waiting for that push, for the moment when I'd really feel the urge. And here it happened, even though I didn't expect it to come today. That's it. That's really all for now. Thank you for being with me. See you in the next videos. Bye-bye.